Welcome to a Skyrim Addict podcast where I will discuss my adventures and misadventures through Skyrim. Join me. Add your stories, add your tales. Let's get into this thing. Hello, welcome back. Episode 103, Skyrim Addict podcast. Today I'm joined by Juan.
Hello, everybody.
And Victor.
Hello, hello.
And Colin.
Hey, guys.
And Andrew sent in a 45-minute fucking voicemail. No, not really, like 15 minutes. But yeah. So we were getting together to talk some crafting. With the, obviously the new stuff coming up. Actually, I'm opening up one of my characters so I could just have something to look at. But yeah, just like how everybody approaches crafting. I know Andrew is very analytical about it and does it the most. Was it the most beneficial way? I don't know.
Efficient,
that's it. But he does it the most efficient way. I tend not to do that. I'm a little more scattered and try and do it organically. But he was deep into that loop of was it where you take the potions and all? Is that what it was?
Yeah, you can build up some pretty huge multipliers. Yeah,
I think I did that once with the Restore Health, I think it is, or something.
Yeah, I think it's the...
He'll explain it in his voicemail, but we can.
Right.
Yeah.
Because you, what you do is you put an alchemy enchant on like however many pieces you can, and then you do the let's see. There's it. I think if you do an improved restoration effects potion, then that adds as a multiplier to that, and then you have to go into your inventory. You take off all the pieces of that you have on that have the alchemy, and then you put them back on, and then it stays, and then you just rinse and repeat, and you make another potion, do it again.
You can get it to a point where it's like an insane multiplier.
Yeah, I mean, it just gets to the point where you take no damage, you're not seen by anybody, and I guess if you don't have a lot of time, it makes the game a little bit easier. So, which I used to do because I sometimes I didn't have time to play in the evenings, but after I joined this group, it just I started enjoying it again and was willing to die and everything.
Yeah, I had done it one time after Andrew was playing around with it, and I was like, yeah, it was just a random character that I kind of did it with just to play around with it. And it was fun to try out, too, but I wouldn't really use it for in general. But I guess in general, I guess we can just talk, like how we normally do, whatever, comes up. But in general crafting, like I feel like all three of them work together pretty well. And and you can level them without just grinding.
I've actually found that if you kind of just naturally grind, well, not grind, but I mean you just do everything naturally, you get a more balanced character. Because sometimes if you level up, like enchanting is probably the easiest one to level up, enchanting and blacksmithing. And I find that if you level those up, then you actually get your level up a little higher, and then your enemies get higher. Mm-hmm. So then that's when you have the need to find alternate methods of of crafting that's when you need to do the exploits. But if because what I started doing is I would go around, do my questing, get to a point where I couldn't carry anymore without being slowed down. And then I would just find a blacksmith. I'd blacksmith everything up, smith it up, and then I would sell it to to the vendor, and that increases your, or what you can do is you smith it up, you go enchant it, then you sell it to the vendor, and even if they don't have any more money, you still sell it all to them, and that way you improve your blacksmithing, your enchanting, and your speech all at the same time.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's definitely a well-balanced way to do it. I know, Colin, you're always pushing the, was it Dwarven Bow is the most efficient?
Yeah, I find it's quite. Well, if you're going up the heavy armor side, it is.
Yeah.
Or else you'd have to waste a point going to dwarven smithing and then go back the other way. But I like it because there's so much dwarven material around that you can pick up and then melt down.
That is true.
If you do spend a day, as in your character probably would do, is going in, picking up all the stray pieces, bringing them back, melting them down. And
Yeah,
then
that's
using
true. And you can get dwarven crafting material at such a low level too.
Yeah, because if you go into any ruin, it's everywhere.
Right. Yeah. And there's
it is smeltable, right? But most of it is. I mean,
Yeah. What is it? The it's labeled.
trucks are, and the ingots, and the
and the large dwemer parts and the small metal parts and
But
dwemer.
you can't smelt the cogs, I don't think, and there's a few other things that don't.
I think the rule of thumb is if it's prefixed with Dwemer or Dwarven, then you can't smelt it. So if it's large Dwemer plate, then you can smelt that. But if it's a Dwemer plate, then you can't smelt it.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
I think that's the rule.
So if it says small or large, then that's when it can be.
Well, if it says Dwemer first, it can't. That's just the first word. That's all.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, and that stuff is completely readily available everywhere.
Right.
And to make a dwarven bow, it's just 2 dwarven ingots and 1 iron ingot, I think.
Oh, wow. That's like nothing. Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
I like the sort of the jewelry approach. That's one of the ones
too.
I use more often. Yeah, collect as many gems as I can and various other precious metals, and then make necklaces and stuff like that. That can shoot you up the tree pretty quick too.
Yeah, that's a pretty nice way also, especially if you get the what is it, the spell that is it transmutation?
Just transmute. Yeah.
Transmute, if you get the transmute spell, then
Voltage.
spell.
I haven't been able to use that in a long time because most of the it's gone from a lot of the modded games, especially Skyrim took it out and
Really?
Chroma takes it out. Yep, it's gone.
Oh, wow. They do, huh?
Yeah. So.
Yeah, because that's one of my crafting, like, early on. Once I get to Whiterun, I head due north to Halted Stream, get transmute, and just make gold and start making rings and necklaces, basically, because that ups your crafting really quick in the beginning.
Yeah.
And they're light, too, so that's the other. But you're not carrying around swords and daggers and stuff like that, so.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, it's like my favorite. Well, in the vanilla game anyway, my favorite alchemy potion is the damage magicka regen, which is some blue mountain flower, and that's worth. It's not like the water breathing potions that you can make out of salmon roe, which are worth a huge amount.
Yeah.
But it's all ubiquitous components or ingredients, and it's about $250, $300. You can shoot yourself up to level 35 or 40 very quickly making those. I don't usually go farther than that personally. I like one. I like the more organic approach and sort of living the game rather than gaming the game. And either way is great. However anybody wants to play. But I sort of try to approach it that way a little bit more. Plus, I'm just not an analytical person. So.
Yeah, I think Oblivion was more for you. It gave you the opportunity to do a lot of the sitting there. Oh, this is what I need to do in order to maximize. In Skyrim, it doesn't seem to be as necessary.
Yeah, definitely not. Well, since we're on alchemy, I kind of do the same thing. Like, even though it's very easy to look up and find what ingredients does what with what, each character I tend to discover the ingredients as I go. What they can.
Okay.
I never go back and reference or anything. Obviously, there's ones that I just know, just from playing so much. But I like the character to just figure it out, and that's kind of how. So I waste a lot of ingredients, but I mean, there's so many ingredients around, really.
Right? Yeah, there are.
So you let them eat them too.
Yeah, I'll always eat them to get the first effect of everything, which at times has killed me.
Isn't there only one thing that'll kill you?
Yeah, I forget what it is, but
vampire dust.
That's what it is. Yeah, it happened to me once.
Oh wow.
No, that's vampire dust is if it's modded.
Oh really?
Modded.
Okay.
It's in a vanilla game. The first the first thing it does is invisibility.
Oh yeah, you're right. You're right. Yeah, that's invisibility.
So what in vanilla? What will kill you then?
I think
nothing immediately. You'd have to eat a whole ton of ingredients,
which may have.
And if you're still at 100 health and you eat sort of like 30 or 40 ingredients that have ravage health and damage health or something like that, then
that's the quick way to kill yourself. If you sit there just randomly collecting stuff.
It's funny when it does.
Yeah, it happened to me one time as well, and I was like, "Oh, really?" And I might have been playing on like Legendary or something also. So
yeah, and it's even worse if you haven't saved in a while.
Oh yeah.
The problem, of course, is especially with alchemy. I think is that if you do it that way, which is fun, I agree. You do have to do a certain amount of grinding just in tasting ingredients, and then just sort of randomly combining things until you learn more of the attributes of the ingredients. I think that's one of the faults of the vanilla trees in the alchemy tree, is that the learn all 4 ingredients perk is way too high up.
Oh, it's very high.
Yeah, and I think that's poorly balanced. Several of the perk overhauls change that down to a lower level.
Yeah, Ordinator, you can get it pretty easily.
I think it's level 30 or 40 or something.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of weird.
Well, it's a bit easy, though, I find, in Ordinator. I mean, in the vanilla experimenter, yes, it's level 50, and that's just to get the first 2 effects. Then you need to pump in another perk to get 3 effects, and then another perk to get all 4 effects. I find to get all 4 effects at every single thing, I think that's a worthwhile investment.
I think you're right. I think you could have changed that to sort of a multi-level perk, is what you're saying, instead of
get all of them right away.
All 4s at level 30 is a bit cheap.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. Thinking about it. I think since I never really reached the potential of it anything myself, I guess it never occurred to me. So
that is a question. How many, like in an on-mod game, in the vanilla game, when you're doing your characters, do you invest in the alchemy tree apart from like the first few?
Yeah, usually just a few, unless I'm going to focus on that for like a poisoner or something. Unless specifically I'm going into that, because I find even if you're on Legendary, I find that at some point you just don't need the potions, except for maybe some healing potions.
Yeah.
At some point they just become useless. That's one thing I thought could have been balanced a little better. Maybe make them a little stronger than they are, or the enchantments a little weaker, because I feel like the enchantments overtake the alchemy.
Yeah, using them is kind of cumbersome too, right?
True, because they're not just there. You have to actually take them and also carry them. So that, So there's
the one-time use thing. It's we'll get into the mods later.
Definitely, yeah. So I guess we'll for show's sake, we'll whoever's listening, we'll do like kind of go through everything quasi vanilla-ish, and then we'll get into what mods we all use and possibly what'll be, who knows what'll be on the console ones, but I'm sure things generally similar to what we use will be there. Yeah, alchemy I would say is the least useful over the long term.
Yeah, I mean, I mean, they have the reverse pickpocket perk where you put a poison in somebody. Yeah. I mean, if you're gonna do that, wouldn't it be helpful if you could make a poison that could actually kill somebody?
That's the problem. You need to put like 3 poisons in them before they're dead or something.
Yeah, and you have to be pretty high level in your in your alchemy as well to make it even strong enough to do that much damage. You know,
And your pickpocket too.
right?
Because if your pickpocket skill isn't like close to 100 with all kinds of perks, and you have some massive, damage health potion that does whatever X amount and is worth like 500 gold, yeah, it's going to be hard to get it in that person's pocket.
Right.
So you really have to, if you're going to do it that way, you really have to focus on those things specifically.
Yeah, I mean, at that point, I mean, if you're that close, you might as well just invest in the backstab in the sneak tree.
Yep. Yeah. The backstab's fantastic.
So, yeah, I mean, I wish that they had made the alchemy system a little bit better, and that would have been much nicer just to be able to. Because I mean, I've wanted to make a character that just sits there and just puts poisons in people's pockets and kills them and then just disappears because there's no trace, you know. And it just kind of for RP purposes, it's kind of cool, you know.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I've played that way a few times, and I'm gonna play that way again with the non-Let's Play character I'm doing. Is going to move from Thieves Guild to kind of doing that poisoner thing, but it's still tough to do. I mean, even high-level sneak and all that, it's a hard way to go. Just to get the your poisons strong enough to be able to do it is tough.
Right.
Yeah, I think I did it with my very first character on the Xbox 360. When I did the Dark Brotherhood, that's the way I did it, or some of it anyway.
Right.
It was fun. Yeah.
Yeah, and then another thing is, I mean, potions are just all over the place. Health potions, magicka, and stamina potions are just everywhere. So there's really no need for you to sit there and make your own after a certain point, because basically you pick up so many that you just start selling them.
Yeah, especially the health and the stamina and all. Yeah, they're everywhere. Yeah.
Yeah, and eventually they have the one potion that just completely fills your health. So it's like, okay.
Oh yeah, ultimate potion of healing or whatever it's called. Yeah, ultimate healing potion. Yeah.
Yeah. I guess that's why I've never really built up my alchemy all the way on the tree, because it just doesn't seem worth it to me. Like you said, the enchanting takes care of most of that, as well as just stuff you randomly find, you know?
Yeah, I agree. I'm kind of the same way. Because you just get to a certain point where it's the same thing with like money in the game. It just becomes useless.
Yeah.
That's when a lot of the mods come in handy.
Yeah.
Like Ordinator, where I think in the pickpocket tree, if you fall asleep with over 50,000 gold, you have the option to convert it into a skill point.
I didn't.
Really?
I didn't realize that.
See that far.
Yeah, I haven't really used the pickpocket tree in Ordinator. Yeah.
He also just, by the way, it just updated to version 9 now. I don't know if anybody's updated their Ordinator recently, but
No, I don't.
Yeah, it's now
I
like
might have to.
Yeah,
9.4 or something. He said it's probably going to be the last major update. So,
yeah, I do like that a lot. I wonder if Ordinator. Do you think that'll make it over to consoles?
Yeah, in fact, I think I very very much think it will, because it doesn't use SKSE.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, it does not. That's right. Yeah.
So it's very possible it'll end up over there.
Yeah, that's definitely something I would recommend. And even for crafting, it really changes the crafting each different thing. It's really a nice way to change it without completely changing the game, I guess. It changes the leveling for sure.
Yeah.
Right.
Because I really enjoy the crafting in that more. Especially the alchemy I've played with. But yeah, like Colin said, it is a little. You do get the four active effects of the ingredients pretty early.
Yeah,
that's the only drawback, I would say. But I haven't really played with the smithing on it too much. I haven't done that much smithing recently. I used to be like crazy into smithing. That was like my thing.
Yeah, early on I was too, and you're right. I haven't done much of it either. Who has? Because I can't really talk about it a whole lot. I do basic stuff, and
Yeah.
mostly it's kind of like potions. Very often, you find enough in the world that you don't really need to do any.
Yeah, I mean, really, the only advantage to the smithing is, what do you call it? Smithing your armor up to legendary.
Yep.
So it offers. But I think I was I was watching a YouTube video, and the guy says that you can. It doesn't matter if you're light or heavy. Once you get past like around 600, I think, of what do you call it? Of defense, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, there's like a max point, isn't there?
Yeah, so I mean, if even if you use the loop and you're doing like and you're over like 10,000 in armor, it doesn't matter because there's like a 600 or 800 point limit where after that, that's when you start taking damage.
Right.
That's when the enchanting comes in handy because then you can do fire protection, magic of protection, and stuff like that, and that helps as well.
Yeah, because early on, you know what I think it is? I felt like early on maybe I played characters much longer and tried to do everything with them, so I spent a lot of time on crafting and building them up to do things. Whereas now, like, I'll play characters for specific purposes, and, you know, they don't really branch out and do everything like I used to. So
right. No, that's a good point. Yeah,
that might be part of why that's kind of gone by the wayside for me. Now, I tend to be sneaky. Colin, you tend to be two-handed, right?
I like two-handed. I started a new character recently, and he's sword and board. I've got like a kind of, I don't know, Skyrim survival type thing. I've installed, what was it? I've got Ordinator running and Frostfall, Hunterborn, Camping, and I think there was another one.
Oh, the camping one is really nice.
Yeah,
but it's basically just basically a slow play. He's only level 14, but with all the Hunterborn stuff, he's going with alchemy, so I'm putting a lot of points into alchemy. But smithing he hasn't started up on yet. But I'm enjoying it. He will get into smithing because he's 0 magic.
Oh, you're gonna need it.
So yeah, he does not use magic. He doesn't use magical items apart from stuff that he finds. So he won't enchant or disenchant. He will only. He found went to Youngle Barrel or Ingle Barrel.
Oh yeah, yep.
And I cleared that out, and he found was it Youngle's or Ingle's helmet, which is the one that 30% frost resistance or something like that.
Yep.
So,
nice.
So he'll wear stuff like that, but he won't find a sword of fire or something like that, disenchant it, and then put it on his own sword. There's none of that. The extent of his magic ability is making potions, which is arguably, it's arguably magic. You know, alchemy is kind of a magic thing.
Yeah, really. Yeah, I think that fits in with Mages College and stuff like that.
Some of it does, I guess. Yeah.
But for some reason they have it under thief.
Well, it's not harnessing an invisible force, right? It is making something out of physical ingredients.
It's just natural, I think. So.
Yeah.
So it sort of straddles the line, I guess.
Yeah. I was doing something similar to that, but with a two-handed weapon. Just kind of somebody that just runs into battle and will take like a regeneration potion and maybe poison on his weapon and just go into battle. I was thinking about doing something like that since, like Michael, I like playing a sneaky character. I like shooting things from just other side of the map.
Yep.
Yeah, that's funny.
Because even when I've gone into the what's the Boy Who Cried Wolf? Where they're trying to bring back the Wolf Queen. I'll sit up on the ledge and I'll be chucking arrows at the top of the tower.
Oh, yeah, it's a sniper's paradise in there.
That place is great. Yeah, I've done that too, where you shoot right across and take everybody out before you even go over there.
Yep.
As Colin sneers at us and everything we've done.
Yeah.
I stand on that ledge, I take a screenshot, and then I carry on.
Just like any good tourist would, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Selfie.
Selfies. Yeah. That's what we need, Skyrim selfies. Yeah.
Yeah. And
Didn't somebody make an app?
an app.
Or, a mod for that?
Who knows?
Oh, I'm sure.
Or they might have for Fallout. I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, for me, smithing-wise, I always focus light armor. Light armor and jewelry. I didn't really do much heavy armor smithing throughout. I think I had some characters I did where I got all the way up to ebony and dragon bone and all that stuff. But I tended to focus on the light side. Although the glass looks a little funky. It's a little weird looking.
Yeah, it is. Not as bad as the elven armor though, at least in the vanilla game. Anyway.
Yeah, it's the elven armor is very bright. You're not sneaking anywhere in it really.
I just don't like the look of them.
Yeah, it's a funky look for sure.
Yeah,
especially the helmet.
Yeah,
not good.
Yeah, and that's another difference that I was planning on doing was I was gonna focus on just heavy on the heavy side of the blacksmithing, and maybe go over to Solstheim and get some of the
Stalrim.
Get some of the Stalrim.
Yeah.
It might be worth mentioning that on the vanilla game, the perk trees, the way they go, you go up and you got Arcane Blacksmith there in the middle. You need 64. So, but you can't go up and over. So if you go up the left and then get to Dragonbone smithing via glass, you can't go from dragon smithing down to Daedric.
Yeah, you can only go up one side to the top.
Oh yeah, it's Daedric before Dragon.
Yeah, that's right, Daedric. Yeah, I did love Daedric smithing because I think the Daedric stuff looks great.
I love the look of the Daedric. It's just I loved it in Oblivion and I love it in Skyrim. It looks scary.
Yeah, it looks way better
than threatening
stuff does.
Yes. Yeah, the heavy armor dragon stuff looks like it looks like it should be like at the bottom because it just looks like you have bones on your
Yeah, honestly, I think I like the ebony the best of the armors of that.
The ebony nice too, yeah.
And the Nordic carved, I think that's actually the nicest.
Oh, that one's really
Nordic
nice.
carved is really nice. In the vanilla game,
and you get that from the light side as well, don't you?
I think so, actually. Isn't
you
it?
get that from advanced armors on the light side.
Yeah, I think so.
Right, plate armors. And the Nordic carved is on the advanced armor side.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. Yeah.
So if anybody wants to do that, go off the left side and go up to advanced armors.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Well, speaking of new characters, when Michael, when you started talking about doing this episode, I thought, okay, so I made my little character who's the adjunct to my modding videos there, Will Hawthorne, and he's a crafter character. That's why I made him. So he doesn't wear, he barely consumes, and he won't use anything that he hasn't made himself. So, and I started him as a alt start. Robbed and left for dead character, so he had nothing. So that's been a heck of a lot of fun. He's been using Hunterborn a lot, which I have in every one of my playthroughs anyway.
Where did that character start? Sorry.
Which one?
The Robbed and Left for Dead, because I know.
Oh, that mod has about 5 or 6 different locations that it plop you into. One of the worst ones, and I've had trouble with it. I think I mentioned it on the the group in one conversation. Occasionally, this has to do with mods as well and spawns and things, but it'll dump you into the little cabin at the top of Alftand, up there on the snowy north. The dwarven And but whenever it does, in my games anyway, it drops me into that cabin in the middle of 4 angry bandits. It's basically impossible. They just sort of beat you to death within about a second and a half. And if you time it exactly right, you can jump to the left and out the window of the shack and get away from them. But it spawned me into. It'll spawn you into the road near Dayspring Canyon or out near. In the Reach, there's a location. It'll spawn you into a spot in Solstheim.
That was the worst for me. Was Solstheim.
That's a bad one. Yeah, getting away from Solstheim is hard. Yeah, when you're
just getting to the main city is tough enough because you're sneaking the whole way because you can't survive against anything. Yeah.
No, this one actually, I think it was a relatively new location for me. For me, you can actually write in your own locations for that if you learn his little. API that he made.
Oh, nice.
But this one spawned me into that cart that's been attacked by Falmer that's near Dragon Bridge.
Yes.
It spawned me near there, so I didn't have too tough a time for it.
There's some dead bodies there, right?
Yeah, there's a couple. Yeah, but Will won't wear anything anyway, so he couldn't loot anything, any armor or anything from anybody. So he had to run around and. So Hunterborn allows you to make a stone hatchet early on without anything really except a piece of wood, and so I made that, and I killed a couple of deer with it after running around after them. And once you do that, and you start harvesting ingredients from the corpses, and the whole crafting tree through the mods is pretty amazing. Like Colin was saying, there's Scrimshaw and then Campfire / Frostfall, which are basically, Campfire is one of the, you can use Campfire without Frostfall, but you can't use Frostfall without Campfire. And that adds its own crafting tree plus skill trees to add 2 skill trees to the game. So,
and you can create your own crafting stations there as well, right?
Well, you can make a tanning rack and use that, and
I think you can make an enchanting.
Yep, you can make an enchanting troll skull and stuff. You can make a mortar and pestle. So you can pretty much do everything if you need to. Will hasn't quite gotten that far. He's not an enchanter either. He won't be.
That would have been great for Michael's the character that didn't go into towns.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
That's right.
Perfect for that.
Yeah, it would have been a little bit. I could have camped and stuff like that instead of.
Yeah, you just kind of take a day off and set up your camp, and then do all your crafting and go from there.
Yeah, that was pre PC for me, I think. Actually,
yes, it was. Yeah.
So there are ways to do things, even if you're not on PC. You can.
Yep. So
create your own stations and things like that. I had my vegan character, which was a little more difficult to pull off, but
Yeah.
He did his best.
He ran around naked.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. I just used robes, and I'm like, I gotta find the robes that don't look like they have any leather on them. Let me see if I can find some. There were a few actually, or like sacks, like the sacks you get in when you're in jail.
Right, the miners' clothes, I think.
Yeah, miners' clothes, things like that. Yeah. They don't give them anything good.
No,
nothing good to wear. But I find since I play archery a lot, I do use potions with archery. I find it works better than with 1 or 2-handed, just because when you're in a battle 1 or 2-handed, you don't really have time to hop out and poison everything.
Yeah.
Whereas if you're sniping, you can take that time to add like frostbite venom, which you get early in the game, or things like that to your arrows.
Yeah, I've always found that kind of an awkward mechanic in Skyrim. It's not really all that well done.
Yeah,
like it is, for instance, in The Witcher, where you have to prepare before battle, and you use oils and various things on your weapons before battle, and I found that's a kind of a better system. I don't know about realistic or not, but it makes more sense.
Yeah, if you could like for instance, just poison a bunch of arrows ahead of time, and those are the poisoned arrows.
Yeah.
Or poison your dagger ahead of time, and have
Now,
it
of course,
a couple hits.
With mods, of course, you can do some similar things to that. So, if I may just mention a couple of other mods that are really related to crafting and are really excellent, are the complete alchemy and cooking overhaul, which is and also the complete crafting overhaul remade, both made by the same mod author, who's pretty darn amazing. She's prolific and excellent. But the complete alchemy and crafting overhaul, not cooking, allows you to make waxes for your weapons, so you can put, and those last longer than just a single potion, which is really nice. That's an excellent addition.
I know Colin did a lot of cooking, a lot of food for, was it Genaria? She used a lot of food, Colin?
Not really. I did a lot of cooking in this one.
Because I remember you like the Elsewhere fondue.
Yeah, Elsewhere fondue, that's really good. It's it's got which is another probably I can't remember. I think it was 100 magica regeneration.
It's really powerful, yeah.
Yeah.
It's quite good, but I think you need a leek, some
the Elsewhere cheese.
Yeah, so the Ida cheese wheel, a leek, a few other things I can't remember, I think. And ale, I think. Oh, and moon sugar.
Moon sugar, yeah, for sure.
It's quite expensive. As I say, with the enchanting tree and the alchemy tree, both of those start off with those +5, plus 20% power points that start off, and you got 5 levels of them. So it's kind of a pain. So it gets 20% better, now it's 40%, now it's 60%. So you got to invest 5 perk points in the middle to get you up to the strongest.
Yeah.
The smithing one doesn't have that though. It just starts off steel smithing, then moves on to whichever you want.
Yeah.
And I think as your level in smithing gets higher, then it actually automatically improves your weapon that much more.
Yeah. As you level up each thing.
I think it's the same with the other two as well.
Yep, the potions get a little stronger.
Right, but you still have to invest in the other perk at the bottom if you want to make them even stronger. Because I think, like you said, it's like, what is it, 20, 40, 50? I don't remember what it was. Or is it just 10% at a time?
No, it's 20, so it goes all the way up to 100. There's 5 of them.
Right.
Yeah, well, guys go through the tree. So you start off with those in Alchemist, and then it goes up to Physician, which makes your health, magic, and stamina 25% more powerful. And then you have splits off now. Benefactor, potions you mix with beneficial effects have a 25% greater magnitude. I suppose that's probably a fortify one-handed. Is there any ones that you guys like of those beneficial ones? Fortify health or fortify one-handed, fortify destruction? Do you use those?
I'm trying to think.
So, talking about the potions or the perks?
Potions.
The potion. Yeah, I do use the archery one sometimes and the one-handed if I know, especially if I'm backstabbing and it's a higher level, like a chief or a bandit chief or something crazy like that. I'll pop in one of those.
Yeah,
I think if I use those fortify potions, it's because they're red and they help with something health-wise. I just sort of slam them down, but I don't really ever think about it that deeply.
Yeah, I always forget that I have the potions just sitting there.
That's the thing too. Yeah, they're very easy to forget to use.
Yeah.
I don't know if there's a way that they could have made it more obvious or more in front of your brain to
You
want
can
to.
put them on a hotkey, but that doesn't really.
Yeah.
Yeah,
was just gonna say that.
yeah. I mean, like you said, it just kind of sits there.
Yeah, like something you always forget about. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, sometimes I'll do that, but I mean, I find myself for health anyway, more often than not, unless I'm playing a strictly non-magic user, I just use the the healing spell,
Yeah.
and not the health potions. I mean, again, playing with them, there's a difference playing with a controller and a mouse. So, I mean, I have buttons on the side of my mouse, so I just hit a button and I've got it's equipped the spell immediately.
Right.
And, so it's pretty quick. Maybe it's not quite so easy on a controller, but
Look, if you have it in the favorites, you can get to them pretty quickly.
Yeah, but it's like you still have to. You're sort of hopping out of the moment when
That's true. Yeah,
and like that. So it's more immediate.
You can hotkey two things though.
That's true.
On the controller.
Right, but only two, right? You can't even use the 4-way pad, the D-pad, right?
Yeah, that's the one thing I wish they had brought from Oblivion was that, because in Oblivion you could just you had all I think 8 directions on the D-pad where things would just be hotkeyed and boom, it was active.
Yeah.
I kind of wish they had brought over because that was incredibly convenient.
Yeah, I think the only reason they didn't is because the up-down opens up your starred, your favorited items.
Yeah.
But like Victor said, it's basically like, okay, timeout.
Yeah.
Let me change all this stuff. Let me do this and this and this. Okay, time in. Let's go back.
Exactly. Yeah, right. Okay, yeah. Hang on, everybody. I got to take 16 potions and put in here. And this, it's fine. Weird. It works, but it's part of the game. But it does sort of take it out.
Yeah, it definitely takes you out of the moment when all that's happening for sure.
So
you got the other argument from the PC side though. If you have got health potions on hotkey, is that you're in the middle of the fight, you're hiding behind your shield, and you press the hotkey about 8 times, and you drink 8 health potions in 3 seconds.
Yeah. What's wrong with that, huh?
Good point.
You're still taking damage, right?
Yeah.
Just swigging them down.
Yeah.
Now, kind of vanilla enchanting. I think takes a little longer to build up than the other two.
I think everybody will argue with you on that.
Really?
Yeah, because you can grind it really quickly.
Oh yeah, you know what? You're right. Yeah. No, what I was thinking of, I'm thinking of finding gems more than. But yeah, you're right. Once you start doing enchantments, you can blow that up pretty quick with jewelry. That's true.
And if you make jewelry, you can get gold really fast, especially off the mages. You on the jewelry, and then just purchase all the other soul gems, and then and you do that. Because I've done that in the past also, where I'll sit there and I sell them some of the most expensive stuff I have. Once they're out of gold, then I'll buy either soul gems, or from the blacksmith I buy all the ingots, and then sell them more stuff, and then buy more crafting material that I can use. And so I end up with a lot of crafting material that I just kind of store away. And that actually ended up with too much crafting material doing that as well. So,
yeah, what I would like to have had added to that, like, because I do that same thing where, once you start going and making the jewelry and enchanting it, you sell it, you buy gems instead of searching for them and all that. If there were just like special, super expensive items that made all that economy worthwhile, that made all that crafting and making money, that things that you couldn't craft, that you make things better than.
Yeah, I don't think there was anything that anybody sold that was better than anything that I could craft. Because usually if they had something good, I go, oh, I want that enchantment. Okay, break it down, learn the enchantment, and put it on something else and make it stronger.
Yeah.
The only thing that was not that you couldn't craft stronger was the duel on the mage robes, where it's the some of them would be like 50% less magicka for casting X spell type, and 150% regeneration. Because I think you could get the regeneration up pretty high, but the cost didn't go up. I think that the most it would be was like 10%.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah,
and that was the only thing.
Yeah, I do like the when you can get the dual enchantments. That's a big plus when you can start doing 2 enchantments on one item.
Yeah, that's huge.
Oh yeah,
that's pretty high up the tree. That's the top thing of the tree, I believe.
Is it really? Wow.
Yeah.
It's been a long time since
Yeah.
I've actually done any serious enchanting.
Yeah, that's the top thing. Well, enchanting and alchemy are things that I really love going legendary on. If you're playing like a vanilla leveling character, they're 2 great things to go legendary on because you can so quickly build them back up again.
Yeah.
And go legendary again. Especially with alchemy, because you don't. Well, both of them really, because you still know all the effects even after you go back.
Yep.
So you don't lose any of that knowledge, and so you can make those high-level potions or high-level enchantments really quickly.
Yeah, they're just not as powerful.
Yeah, they're not as powerful, and then as you start building up, But that's like if you're trying to level up, if you want
Right.
a grinding way to level up, and you're not, just using the vanilla leveling system. That's
Right.
a good way.
And usually, once you get your especially your what do you call it? Your enchanting. Once you get it up that high, you've already made the last gear you're ever going to make.
That's true. Yeah, at some point you've made your gear you're going to use.
Yeah.
and at that point, it's like, well, now I can go legendary and sell this stuff, and that'll help me keep leveling up at least and putting into other things.
Right.
Yeah, all 3 of those things, really, smithing, all 3 crafting, they're good to grind and use the legendary thing for, just to get those points back too, and use them in something else.
Correct. Yeah, I mean it is nice to sit there and you legendary your enchanting, and then it's like, okay, now I can add points to if like you're running sword and board and you're like, I really want more of these blocking perks, so let me put more into the blocking so that I can get that one maxed out and I can do what I really want to do. Don't even worry about enchanting anymore.
Yeah, it definitely gives you that flexibility, because unless you're going to keep using potions or alchemy, which once you get to a certain level, you're probably not anyway. You can make a crap ton of them, stick them in a chest, and have enough for the rest of your life, to say the least.
Yeah. Usually once you're at that point, you're just kind of almost ready to kind of give up on the character and move on to another one.
Yeah, exactly.
Sorry, I'm chuckling because I rarely make
don't
it
get that far?
level.
Yeah, but never get that far. What are you talking about?
Level 25, maybe. I think. Maybe, Okay, new character.
Victor's like, what's legendary?
Yeah, really. Yeah.
I really haven't done it in a long time because I used to take characters pretty far and do a lot of stuff. Now I really don't. Like, I'll just do very specific things, and I enjoy doing that now. But remember when there was the 81 cap on the levels,
Right.
level cap 81? You had to do everything, or you weren't leveling up to 81, and it was grinding because you had those last few levels are slow.
Yeah.
Yeah, it really does get slow as you get up. I mean, my first character, my 360 character, is the only one I've ever taken up to level 80, and I remember the last few were just very grindy.
Yeah, you really had to grind and grind. Yeah, I think I had to grind like heavy armor and two-handed. So I would just go into Whiterun and stand there and whack a guard and then just stand there. And just get beat to death. And, they wouldn't really hurt me that bad. Then I would run away, heal up a little bit, come back, do the same thing again. That kind of grinding, it wasn't that fun.
Yeah.
I wonder if you could just kind of mix and match light and heavy to level both of them up a little bit.
You can, yeah, I think you can, right?
Yeah. And is it Ordinator that allows you to build up your either light armor or heavy armor just by walking around in it and running around in it?
No, we Skyrim or
Is it Skyrim?
yeah,
Well, there's
Skyrim
also-
or the other one, Percus Maximus.
I think Ordinator does too, because on my one character, he gets leveled up in light armor when I'm sneaking.
Yeah, and there's also, it's not one of the perk overhauls, but I think the follower mods, some of them have what they call synergy perks as well, where you level up, you and your character, your followers level up, and you get synergy points out of that as well.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. I'm just looking through the Ordinator perks right now. It's just a wall of them. By the way, I misspoke earlier. It's not. It's version 8 now on Ordinator. Is the new version. It's Apocalypse. He just updated Apocalypse Magic too, but that's not. That's 9 something.
Yeah. I was going to say, on my non-magic guy that I'm playing at the moment, I also have Apocalypse spells installed, so he's just there taking it out, and I'm reading all the scrolls, what they're doing, and go, oh, that's worth a lot of money. I'm going to sell that. Yeah, it looks like fun. There's one that I found, I think it was something like Bat Out of Oblivion or something like that. It was worth 1,200 gold.
Wow.
And basically it said if either a summoned or a raised creature has increased damage output by 200% and increased speed by 200% for 60 seconds. It's like, that would have been so nice on one of my Breton characters. And I can't find anybody to sell it to because no mage has 1,200. Well, with the joy I think comes down when I'm trying to sell it is like 800, but no mage has 800 gold.
Oh,
yeah.
And I can't buy anything for them because I'm not going to use anything. I'm not going to use any soul gems. I'm not going to use any sort of like books or anything like that. Not unless I can find somebody who's got like was it a necklace of something or other, like a resist frost necklace or something,
or maybe some muffled boots.
Oh man, muffled boots. Yep. Oh god, those are. You got to find those. Those are great items.
Too bad
Big muffled. Since
They're pretty common, right?
Yeah, they're everywhere.
Yeah. While we're still kind of talking about vendors, Victor, I remember you were telling me there was a mod that allowed for the vendors to their money to increase as it went along.
There's a couple of them. The one I use the most is called Trade and Barter, written by the same author as the other two I mentioned earlier. Cryptopeer, just amazing mod author. And it adds a little bit of real economy to the world. So yeah, the vendors have more, and sometimes it's depending on where they are, in Skyrim and so on. And there's also a mod called Trade Routes, which is really excellent. Yeah, really excellent mod. And that adds real economy where you can buy things on one end of Skyrim, things that are ubiquitous in like silver or whatever in the Reach and are rare in the Rift. You can take them from the Reach and sell them for a huge profit in the Rift, and that's
oh wow, okay,
yeah, that's kind of nice. So yeah, those are two.
I mean that would make sense because I mean you find ebony in the Rift.
Yeah,
and not in other places. So, I mean, if somebody doesn't have access to it, they'd be like, "Ooh, I want some of that." Yeah,
absolutely. And it's not just ore and stuff. All kinds of ingredients that are more common in one place or another are sellable somewhere else.
Right. That was the nice thing.
What's that?
Who sells ebony? Never sell any goddamn ebony. My fucking ebony. You
I'll
know,
sell whatever I can to make a buck.
Yeah, that was the nice thing about Skyrim is depending on where you are in the map, you find different things. Like jazzbait grapes, you have to be over by in the East March area by the volcanics, volcanic or
How long it took
area.
me? You know how long it took me to find those? Because they don't look like anything.
No, it's
No,
just
yeah.
it looks like crap on the ground.
Yes.
They're almost always on the road, so at least
Yeah.
If they haven't been squished by cartwheels or something.
Yeah. Actually, yeah. Can't get them because they're all mushed to the ground. Yeah.
The ones that I always miss are canis roots.
Yeah. Me too. Yeah.
You always miss
Yeah.
those.
They just look like roots coming out of the ground.
Yeah.
Those are two things that don't really stand out that much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Unlike snowberries, which, God, there can't be enough snowberries.
Well, and of course, snowberries are the main, or the one of the main ingredients the main ingredient, the same ingredient in 3 of the more useful potions you can make that resist frost, shock, and fire. So,
And I
And
believe
the
it also
last
has
one.
improve enchanting, right?
Yeah, fortify enchanting is the last
Fortify
one.
enchanting.
Yeah.
So it's part of the exploit loop.
Yeah, it's a great ingredient. And in Frostfall, you can make snowberry extract, which allows you to swim in cold water. So it's a pretty cool ingredient.
Clever.
Yeah, it is, isn't it?
Now, for mods for ingredients, like there's some that make it more realistic what you pull off of bushes and things like that as well. That's definitely something to.
Yeah, we were talking about those the other day. The Harvest Overhaul is the one that everybody uses, and I think we've all used that. Colin and I have had it pretty much in all the modded games, but the Complete Alchemy and Crafting Overhaul that Cryptopeer wrote gets sort of supersedes Harvest Overhaul. So if you go to the Cryptopeer mod, you don't need Harvest Overhaul anymore. It does pretty much the same thing with a little more in depth. I mean, she's really changed around the whole thing. She's added tons of recipes and switched around alchemy a lot and made it kind of rebalanced it in a lot of ways. The only thing she did that really pissed me off is she took away my favorite recipe. so I can't make the damage magicka regen anymore.
Oh yeah.
In fact, those 2 ingredients together make nothing. It was like the first time I loaded up the mod and went to make my favorite thing. I went, what? Wait a minute.
Oh,
this sucks, man.
And that's got to be great against the necromancers.
It is, yeah. It's a good potion. But there's another recipe for doing pretty much the same thing. But she also took away a lot of value. In other words, the potions aren't necessarily nerfed as much, though you can build them up but they aren't worth as much in a lot of cases. So So you can't make a potion that's worth 600 or 700 gold and grind up your alchemy skills. I think that's why she did it.
Yeah, that makes sense because some of those potions get so expensive that you're blowing through levels pretty quickly.
Right? Yeah, one level at a time practically per. It's like.
And who the fuck would drink it anyway? It's got like damages magic and regeneration, increases health by 200%. You can't walk more than 5 feet without starting.
I know. Yeah.
There's about 60 different things on it, and some of them are good, some of them are bad. Turns you green.
Yeah, I wish that whole aspect of alchemy in the game, and in the vanilla game, and really everywhere, is where these potions that, like that one in particular, the damage magic regen also gives the recipient health. So it is there's no way of separating those, and
when you get higher,
on the tree where you could actually either make it all poison or all.
Oh right, okay, yeah, you're right.
It's called purity, and it's the last one.
Yeah, but I never make it up to that anyway. So, and by the time you're up there, it just seems like it doesn't matter anymore anyway. So
yeah, I mean, sometimes it just feels like you have to grind all this other stuff to kind of make the character that you want.
Yeah,
yeah,
that does happen.
that could be a part of it. If like if you want to do some OP and sort of like your character that you're starting out with is already a fantastic alchemist, so you could go there, collect crap tons of ingredients, and then grind them all up so you can get pretty high, like 70 or 80 level, and then start the game. So
that's a cool idea. Yeah. Actually, that's a darn cool idea.
And with
when you're wandering around Skyrim, you keep on finding those alchemist's notes and alchemist cabin, and there's never any alchemists around because they're all dead. That's what you get for going or walking around Skyrim in a dress.
No armor, just
That's one thing I wish it would do. Like if you find a recipe, then you automatically learn those traits for
that would have been nice. Yeah,
for the alchemy ingredients.
Yeah, like it's like learning a spell essentially. I would have liked to have seen that as well. That would have been a simple, I think, thing that should.
Now you look through those 30 pieces of slips of paper that you've crammed into, one of 8-9 chests.
Yeah.
Where was that? I knew I had that. It's Canis root and something. What the smeg is it going with?
Yeah, until you find it, because sometimes it's like, okay, I have the Canis root and I have the giant's toe, but I don't have whatever else, Yeah. So you put it away somewhere, and then you're like, okay, I got this other thing that I was looking for. I got this all these ingredients here. What can I make?
Yeah.
Wasn't there a spell that wasn't there a potion that used this? I don't know. Let me go look. No, I'm not going to go look.
Yeah.
Yeah, if there's your reference in the game, that would be helpful too. Like something, if you were going to focus on alchemy, that you could call up or learn as you go.
Yeah.
Along with just eating them, you know what I mean?
Are you listening, Bethesda? Elder Scrolls 6, just if you find a recipe, you learn the traits.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Food was kind of useless.
Food?
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess so. It's again, Cryptopure attempts to make it a lot more useful. She's added a lot of recipes that do some cool things. I think you could actually make a cooking character. One of the problems with that I have with using food is that I for buffs is that I use a mod called Realistic Needs and Diseases, and one of the things that R&D does, which by the way, for anybody who's listening, has just been updated by somebody. Thank you. But one of the things it does is you can't eat too much, so because you become full and then you lose speed and you lose all kinds of stuff. You're walking around like 800 pounds or like you're over encumbered, so you can't overeat. So you can't slam stuff down that helps your health or whatever. And that's so I never use that function of food.
I was going to say in the vanilla game, I think if you drink the soups,
they
give you was it 1 or 2 health restore per second for how many seconds.
Yeah.
But they stack.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, do they?
If you eat 10 of them, then it's 10 health per second for 300 seconds and stuff like that.
I didn't realize they stacked.
Yeah, somebody posted it in the Facebook group a few months back. I remember it from then. So
yeah, that's one of the things that a lot of mods take away is that stacking effect in an attempt to be more quote realistic unquote.
I just had 27 bowls of soup. I feel
and I feel great. Yeah.
No issues going for.
Yeah. Where's that Pepto-Bismol? Speaking of bismuth, another this won't sound as weird when I explain it. Another crafting mod that I should really call out is one that's been around for a long time. It's called Alchemy Redone, and it's pretty darn cool. everybody should try it at least once if they're interested in modding and alchemy. And it puts a huge amount of new ingredients into the world, tons of new recipes, and all kinds of new mechanics, which are sort of based on ancient medieval alchemy. So you're using all kinds of heavy metal ingredients and sulfur and all kinds of stuff with weird names, and you get a distiller and a retort and all kinds of cool added tools to make new potions. Now, admittedly, some of them, as you work your way up through these new recipes, some of them are incredibly OP. You can make things that just basically make you invincible.
Wow.
But it's a really cool mod, so it's worth checking out. Alchemy redone.
Oh, nice.
So it's a little bit like it used to be in Oblivion, where although in Oblivion you could basically any consumable was used.
Yeah, food, all kinds of food. Yeah.
But you did have the the different level of calcinators and everything else that come along with it.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, reagents and all kinds of stuff. Yeah, it's
right.
Yeah.
Well, that did kind of make the food more, I guess, useful in Oblivion because it was actually ingredients for the alchemy. Along with whatever Blizzard Report and everything else you found.
Yeah.
Right, and health potions weren't as common in Oblivion.
No, they were not. they were certainly not. Yeah, I feel like maybe there's too many health potions in Skyrim.
Yeah, well, when you
There's
have
not as many as there are stim packs of Fallout 4, though.
Oh, yeah. Apparently they haven't learned that lesson.
Yeah, well, I mean, if they're gonna do that, then they might as well just not have alchemy in the game,
Yeah, because there's so many. I mean, really, once you get to level, like 15, 20, you've gone through enough places where you have, potions galore, health potions galore anyway.
Yeah, and usually you end up with so many ultimates as well, and you just take one ultimate and you're ready to go.
Yeah, and if you're anything like me, you'll carry 20 ultimates, 20 enhanced or whatever they are, and 20 minor healing potions, and have so many potions that you're weighted down and never use any of them because you always forget that you have them.
And then you have
alchemy. Yeah,
Sword of the Vampire that heals you as you hit people.
Yeah. I feel like alchemy is more about hoarding than anything else.
Yeah.
Ingredients and potions. But it's a lot lighter than the smithing ingredients, which are crazy. Oh, the smithing mods I like are the ones that allow you to break down items.
Yes.
Yeah.
I just think that makes a lot of sense because at some point you just don't want to sell the crap anymore.
Which mod was it that did that? I mean, because it
wasn't. There's several.
Right, yeah.
I know I have one. I just can't remember which one is it actually does that.
The other one I mentioned earlier, the complete crafting overhaul redone, which is Cryptopeer's mod, that allows you to break down things at the smelter and various other places. I think there's other mods that do it as well. She has added in also. You can set yourself to gain experience from the tanning rack, which you couldn't in the vanilla game.
That's right.
You can gain experience from smelting ore. You can gain experience from mining.
Okay, I have a complete crafting overhaul.
Yeah, CCOR, complete crafting overhaul remade.
Yeah.
Yep, that's same person that did the complete alchemy and cooking overhaul that I was talking about. So,
okay, nice.
Like I said, she's really prolific and very, very good.
Oh, what
are other ones, but yeah.
I forget what the other ones are, but there's a few. I mean, if you're going to do a lot of smithing, it's worth it to go find them because you don't want to just come in. Oh, let me sell these 47 swords I just took off of the bandits. At least you can break them down into steel ingots or whatever.
There's also a perk in at least one of the perk overalls, if not Ordinator, right? Isn't there something?
There might be. I don't have Ordinator open right now.
Yeah, I'm looking for it. But
I know. I'm pretty sure. I think it might be in Ordinator actually.
Mm.
But yeah, it's nice because it makes those, instead of not looting the bandits that you kill, like it becomes more useful too. Especially if you want to craft a lot.
Well, that's what my character Will is doing, because since he can't wear stuff that he didn't make, but he can take the stuff and break it down into things and craft stuff. So he's doing a lot of that. And it's also handy when you're stealing. Will is also a thief, and so he's if you can steal 5 silver ewers from Eriker's house in Solitude and take him over to the smelter and make him into a silver ingot.
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
It's a way of also getting around the stealing issue.
Once you break the stuff down, yeah.
Right, not having a fence,
Okay.
Yeah, because otherwise, like getting rid of that stuff is a pain.
It's totally a pain, yeah. Yeah, well, we won't talk about it now, but there's a little mod I discovered recently that takes care of some of that. But anyway.
Oh, cool. Yeah, I guess we'll have to do like a factions show.
Yeah.
That'll be a good one. Like Thieves, Companions, Mages College, obviously.
Yep.
Dark Brotherhood. And I guess we can throw the Civil War sides in that.
Don't forget the Bards College.
Bards, yes.
Just
We'll have
about
to have
to
Andrew on
mention
talk about that.
Yes, the Bards, one of Andrew's favorite quests.
Yes.
It is a pretty fun quest, I gotta admit.
It is. Yep.
Yeah. I wish they did more with it.
Yeah, I do too. I wish it was a little longer, actually. I was.
Yeah. Because like traditional bards and like D&D and stuff, they actually have a use where they'll sit there and they'll play their instrument, and it gives buffs and stuff, which would be kind of cool.
Yeah, that would be pretty cool. Like have that be a little more, or at least a little more to the Bard's College itself.
Right. I mean, if you let's say you got a bard follower and you just kind of went around singing about how brave Sir Robin is.
Yeah. That would be pretty amazing. If you had your own, that would be.
But in Skyrim, they're just some asshole singing in the street
all the time. Yeah,
and
the same song.
Problem, they'd be singing the Dragonborn comes.
Yeah. That would be pretty much every single.
I wouldn't play the game.
Yeah, a little more expansive Bard College would be nice for sure.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think. Crafting wise, what else? We did the.
You don't want to get into like the nuts and bolts of it, it's with smithing. It kind of starts off very early. It starts you off when you walk straight into
Riverwood.
Yeah.
Because you get that little tutorial you can have. You can either, if you go to Hadvar, he does a training session. Not Hadvar. Hadvar is uncle. Alvor.
Yeah.
Gives you a little training thing where he takes you how to make a dagger, how to make some hide from leathers and stuff like that. If you've come the right way, you've already killed a couple of wolves on your way in. So
it's kind of interesting too, because any smith, if you haven't done the training, will do the training with you.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that. I thought it was just Adrian and Alvor. I guess those are the only two I've ever gotten to.
No, because I went to is it Falskar? And the guy who lost his dog actually offered training. And I've actually just gone around smithing and doing everything, and I was pretty high level at that point. And then I just actually took the option, and they make you make the iron dagger and the leather helmet, and just like, what am I going to do with this?
Yeah.
You just toss them aside. That's all. Yeah, that's true. They do give a nice tutorial for smithing. Alchemy, not as much. You just kind of figure it out on your own, I think.
I think they're also. I think if you talk to the barkeep at the inn, he sits there and he tells you, if you mix wheat and something else,
blisterwort or something.
Yeah, and blisterwort, you make a nice healing potion. So
that's sort of the standard line, isn't it? Anywhere there's an alchemy table, if you ask to be, if you can use it, they'll sometimes speak that line.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So.
And then I think when you actually get up to the alchemy table, it gives you a little something, but it's not a fully formed tutorial, just kind of stuff like that.
Yeah, not like the smithing walkthrough,
Right.
and kind of the same with enchanting. It's not a full walkthrough with that either.
Yeah, it just says
You
you can break down. Or sometimes it's on the loading screens where it tells you can break down anything, and so if you don't read the loading screens or your loading screens aren't very long, you don't learn all that.
Well, if you're on console, you have plenty of time to.
Yeah.
Yeah, just remember, if you're not an experienced enchanter yet, don't break down that cool piece of armor you just got that you want to know the enchantment for, because it ain't going to be the same when you try to do it yourself.
Yeah, it's not the same level. That's right. That's a good point.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
if it gives you like 50 magicka and you're just starting out, you're probably only going to get about 10 magicka, especially because normally you just have like a lesser soul gem. Oh, that's one thing we should talk about. I mean, the higher level the soul gem, the more powerful your enchantment is going to be.
Yeah.
So if you have a grand...
No, Con, we're just kidding.
Doing it wrong.
I've been selling all those from Greater Up.
Damn it. Yeah, so if you have like a grand soul gem or a black soul gem, those are going to be your most powerful.
Yeah. One of the things I never understood about the vanilla game, it must have been a conscious choice on the part of Bethesda, at least I think, was the fact that when you use the soul trap spell, it'll put a petty gem or a petty soul into a grand gem if that's all you have in your inventory.
Yeah.
And that's one of the first things I remember when I first got my PC and started playing the game on PC, that one of the first mods I ever looked for was something to change that, because it's so freaking stupid.
Because it doesn't work the opposite way. It just says you don't have a soul gem powerful enough to take the soul, so you don't get that benefit. So why would it work in the opposite direction?
I don't understand the balance, the logic behind that, but anyway, there's plenty of mods out there to take care of that.
Yeah, that is
done a different way. There's spell times you can get where you cast a spell which removes all the souls from the soul gems in your inventory. So if you're playing like a paladin character, like I think somebody in the Facebook group is, if you find a black soul gem that like filled, you can cast a spell to release the soul from it.
Oh, where is that? Because that's part of what my Let's Play character is. That's part of his thing, being a Kinnereth, a follower of Kinnereth, and so on and so forth. He's not an enchanter at all. In fact, he feels exactly that way about trapped souls. But I went looking and I couldn't find one.
I think it's in Apocalypse, or it could be Lost Grimoire.
Oh, is it? Okay, well, I'll look a little harder then. Okay, cool.
Also, you just got to kind of go around and find the scroll, and it's like a one-use scroll. It's not an actual spell.
No, it's a spell. It's a spell term that you can buy.
Okay, very nice. Okay.
Does it destroy the gems, or does it just release the souls?
I'm not too sure. I didn't use it.
Yeah,
I was like,
that's lame. Yeah, right.
This is on a different character.
Yeah.
For a paladin character, that's perfect.
Yeah. All right, I'll have to check that out.
Yeah, because in the vanilla game, you just drop them to get rid of the souls.
But I don't think if it's in its proper soul gem, I don't think it won't come out. So if you've got a petty and a grand, you dropped a grand and the petty comes out. But if you've got a grand soul inside a grand soul gem, if you drop that, it doesn't come out. It stays there.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I didn't realize that. Because I've only dropped the ones that weren't, like when you get the petty and the grand or whatever. So I've dropped those. And then, actually, if you drop a ton of them, they just go in a circle around you. It's very weird. And they're pretty easy to pick up. You just spin around and pick them all up. But
it's just a pain, though. You know,
it is. It really is.
You have to do that. Yeah.
It would be better if they just filled the proper gem.
Right, considering how easy and lightweight the little mods that do that are, I can't see why Bethesda wouldn't have done it. So it must have been, like I said, it must have been a conscious choice. I just don't understand why. Maybe they would just say,
Some guy
okay,
came in
this
the
is gonna-
morning and didn't have his coffee, and he read.
Oh, yeah, he was angry at people and said, "We're going to make you learn which creature has which soul in it."
I don't know. I mean, it could just be the fact that they're just like, there's so many empty soul gems all over the world.
True.
Because sometimes you just use the grand with the lesser or petty for just recharging your weapons.
Yeah, the petties and the lesser are good at the lower levels for grinding and for recharging.
Yeah.
I always end up saving the grands and the blacks, and then I get to the point where I have like 40 of each and could never possibly use. Like everything else, you hoard it in a cabinet and.
Jeez. Yeah.
Yeah, those I would save for grinding the enchanting.
Yeah.
So they always ended up getting used. But yeah, I mean, if you just sit there and just play a little more fluid, more natural, you just kind of you do save those, but it's only because you're trying to make a more powerful piece of armor or whatever.
And the best places to get gems are Blackreach and the Dwemer Ruins, for sure.
Yeah.
Right.
Blackreach, you can mine them in the geodes, and in the Dwemer Ruins, they're in all the majority of spiders and spheres and centurions.
Oh, yeah.
I think the Centurions always have a grand.
Yeah, I think they have a grand. Right. Yeah.
Right.
So, I mean, that's like if you want to get it, if you're doing enchanting, start grinding through those Dwemer Ruins. And then, of course, with Dawnguard, you go to, what's that horribly boring place you go to?
Soul Cairn.
The Soul Cairn. And you can turn
my favorite place. Yeah, right.
Yeah, you can turn anything into a black soul gem. There's these little stands that get struck by lightning and whatever they are.
Yeah.
You could spend a lot of time in Soul Cairn. And
No, you can't.
Yeah, the only reason I spent a lot of time in the Soul Cairn was because I was trying to find the pages to that guy's book.
God.
Oh my
That's
God.
worse than Baron's Eye.
Yeah, it is actually. I've finished Baron's Eye. I've never finished the book.
Yeah.
I was missing one page.
Easy.
I'm just like, where the hell is this stupid page? Never found it. Never found it. It's like,
Easy.
It's easy. Okay.
I've done it like 9 times.
Really?
Are they always in the same place, Colin?
Yeah, they're all in the same.
Okay. All right. So yeah, once you found them, I guess it's not too bad. But yeah, it's like me and the Quill of Gemination, which I've never ever found once.
Oh, I just found it recently.
Yeah, I remember you tell it. Yeah. So,
It was still a pain in the ass to find.
yeah.
yeah, I just know it's somewhere close to the bee farm place. So what's it called?
There's
Honey Brew Meadery.
No, there's
Golden Glow Estates.
Yeah.
Golden Glow Estate. Yeah.
there's a ship at the docks of Riften, and then there's a ship at the docks of Golden Glow, and it's kind of in between them, but a little further north.
Yeah.
Oh, all right. Well,
So it's
I'll
not-
go next time.
Mound. Because I was like, okay, he hit something when he was coming in. So I was looking at all the mounds, and it really wasn't on a mound.
Yeah.
No, it was not.
Because I sit there and I'm just like, how the hell did he hit this?
I don't know, because he sunk pretty far down. I don't know what he hit.
Yeah.
I think somebody just sank his ship is what happened.
That's
Probably.
got to be what
Or
happened.
it's just an excuse. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, he hit something.
Maybe he was just drunk and rolled over. And
Yeah.
Go find this feather in the bottom of a lake.
Yeah. It's clear he's a moron anyway. So. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, that is not an easy thing to find. I will grant you that. That is, there are a few things like that that are just really not easy to find.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or what's worse is like when something falls off of a table where it normally is during a battle, and you're just like, okay, I know it's in this room.
Oh God, yeah.
Where the hell did it go?
Well, doing Baranzaya actually is. I mean, you get so many gems. It's insane. It's idiotic. You get so many gems, but
Yeah.
it's good for crafting. If you want to craft a lot of high end jewelry, Baranzaya is the way to go.
Yeah, because if you get high enough, I mean, you're getting just the highest level gems that you,
Oh
you
yeah,
can
it's
get.
like- yeah. You're getting like 4 flawless gems in a chest, and it's insane. You could never possibly sell all the gems that you get with Baron's Eye. There's no way. Like it's. I had like a lockbox of them. I don't know, like 100 diamonds in there and all kinds of crazy stuff that you don't find that much of. But man, once you get the Crown of Baron's Eye, you just find them everywhere.
Well, I think Will is going to be doing that because in his crafting and so on, he's he has sort of an alter ego. He definitely wants to be a wealthy, patron that lives in cities in one part of his life, but then the thief who's out on the plains and has crafted bone armor in another part of his life. So I'm going to try to
Isn't that what most thieves aspire to? Is to
I think so. Yeah, absolutely.
become somebody. It's just that's the way that they know to do it. Is just I'm going to steal, get rich. And I'm gonna become an upstanding citizen, and
I'll retire. Yeah.
Oh, another aspect of crafting though is the housing, the building materials for your housing from Hearthfire.
Yeah.
That is another way if you want to not feel so grindy to.
That'll build up your smithing so fast.
Yeah, because you have to make a ton of stuff for that. So if you want to just go build a couple homesteads, you can do that as well, and it'll also help with your smithing if you don't want to feel like you're grinding and you actually want to feel like you're doing something.
It's just like making the locks and the hinges and stuff that helps with your smithing, right?
Yeah,
you don't get any.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you make all the locks, the hinges, that stuff.
You make nails, locks, hinges. There's a few other things that you make, but all of that. And I think that was the reason why I would trade all the ingots. I mean, everything that I had for ingots, because then I would just take it to whatever home I was building and craft that up.
Mm-hmm. And also making arrows is in the vanilla game because you turn ingots into arrows and then they don't weigh anything. Well, ingots and firewood. Which are firewood is heavy.
Yes.
And ingots are relatively heavy if you have a bunch of them. But
my poor
arrows, they don't weigh anything.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So especially like Elven or Ebony or higher up ones like that, they're worth a good amount of money if you make a bunch of them.
That's true.
So that's a good if you're doing smithing later on in the game, it's probably worth it.
Right.
Or if you're a sneaky archer, you could just use them.
How easy is it to find Daedric hearts?
Daedric hearts.
Because you need those for
the Daedric
armor, right?
Yeah, I'm trying to think where you find the Daedric hearts.
Because the only ones I can think of are from
Daedric.
Marin's Dagon's.
That's what A-Dub says to you, isn't it? When you go to do, was it the Moloch quest?
Oh, yeah.
She's like, I need a Daedra heart and some troll fat. You're like, where do I find a Daedra heart? In a dead Daedra, what do you think?
Yeah, really. What do you think? You're going to find one on a shelf in some vampire's lair or something? Oh, wait a minute. Yeah, you are.
Sometimes you do. The Moloch Ball quest, you get a couple, right?
Right. But I think that's probably the least common thing.
That's pretty uncommon. That's definitely harder to find.
Yeah, because that one you use for alchemy and blacksmithing, right?
Yes, or down in to make those weapons down in the midden.
Okay.
Oh yeah, the something forge.
Yeah, the Daedric Forge, is that it or something? I forget what it's called, but
the Bob Forge.
Yeah. You come across it. I haven't really used it much. It doesn't seem. I think usually by the time I find it, I don't really need anything that it's going to give me.
Yeah.
Well, that's other things.
So that's a point. What are the most or the least common ingredients besides Daedra hearts? There's salmon roe, right? What else?
Giant's toe.
Yeah.
Giant's toes. Yeah.
You got plenty of giants.
Yeah.
You get them off of giants.
There's
and why do you only get one giant's toe?
Yeah.
He stubbed the other one. So that one's out. It lost the toenail, and that's where the good stuff is.
Yep.
Yeah.
Right
Gotta get
underneath
that
the
toe
toenail.
jam.
It's actually the fungus on the toenail that's really
And the salmon roe you can only get from the salmon that are jumping upstream.
correct.
Right.
So, yeah. I know Andrew's done it. He loves setting them up.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've
I was going to say, probably the best way to get it is if you go to Solstheim and do that long-ass quest with Reverend Dreas, or whatever his name was.
Yeah.
And get the boots for...
Walking on water.
Yeah, the walking on water boots. You could probably stand there in the stream and just...
Yeah, I've never tried that, actually, because trying to stand in the stream is not good.
Yeah, I've gone to the one over by Whiterun, and there's like a little ledge in the middle of the little mini waterfall. I just stand right there and just go on either end and just pick them out of the air.
Yeah, that probably is the best place where the two bridges are.
Right.
Yeah, you have to time it just right, but yeah, that's a good spot. What else? There's pearls are pretty rare, right?
Yeah, pearls. Yeah, you don't find a whole lot of. They're up north.
Common in Ulstein along the beach.
Right, or the small pearls I think are actually the rare ones or something, and then powdered mammoth tusk is pretty rare too.
That's pretty rare. Yeah, some of the antlers are pretty rare too.
The small ones, I think.
I think the small ones are the rare ones. Yeah.
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 What else?
Char's eggs are not rare.
No.
No.
Hawk parts are rare if you can't shoot the hawks down. That's
hawk's beak. Yeah.
And the feathers.
Although
the feathers are more common, I think.
Yeah, the feathers because the whatchamacallits use them. The hag ravens kind of use them.
Yeah.
I thought they just used hag raven feathers.
They do, but you find like hawk feathers around.
Find hawk feathers as well.
Yeah.
I think you use hawk feathers for invisibility, right?
Is it one of the invisibility ones? I know it's Nirnroot, Ice Race Teeth, Vampire Dust.
Vampire Dust, and maybe...
Invisibility Potion is great, by the way. You want actually, the invisibility spell is great, but...
But you're not fully invisible, really, are you? I mean, if you stand still, you are, right? But if you move, people can see you.
If you interact with things...
Okay.
Although, if you're not sneaking, they'll find you.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. No, I think if you
if you're sneaking, no, they're not going to find you.
And then once you go to open a door, apparently doors are magical and they remove your invisibility.
Magical doorknobs always ruin everything.
Yep.
That's just the way it is in Skyrim.
Yeah. I can't think of anything else that's difficult to get. Because the moss is really easy.
Yeah, hanging
moss.
Well, ancestor moth wings, I guess.
Yeah, things like that.
DLC ingredients. So Jaren root, which is a quest only ingredient. That's like,
excuse me.
It's probably, but nothing. Yeah, I guess that pretty much covers the rare ingredients.
Ore-wise, Stalrim is the pretty rare on Stalrim on Solstheim.
Yeah, that's too bad because it's fun. It's a fun ingredient, but yeah, you got pretty much a finite quantity of it. Does it even respawn after 30 days or whatever, like some of the other stuff does?
Sure, actually, I've never gone back and checked.
Yeah,
that's something we should check.
Yeah, I know ebony's relatively hard to find out in the wild.
Yeah, there is an ebony mine
on Solstheim, right?
Yeah, there's that one, but there's also
in the rift as well.
No, well, I think there's one. It's just north of Kynes Grove in the Orc stronghold.
That's right. It's way out at the other end of the Orc stronghold there. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
There's also that that little mining place where you have to go clear the place of spiders. There's ebony in there.
A short stone.
Right.
Yeah.
And if you go there every once in a while, there's 3 pieces of ebony that are on a box or a crate. You grab those 3. And then just come back every once in a while, and those respawn.
Oh, nice.
How do they?
Yeah. And the ebony mines don't. I mean, they only have like 4 maybe outcroppings in them. I mean, they're not.
Yeah, they're not like the iron mines. Yeah.
Or like Kolskager, which has got 20 outcroppings of gold, which is pretty nice. Yeah. Yeah.
That's true. The ebony is much harder, and actually, dwarven's pretty easy to find. Iron's pretty easy to find, obviously. Was it corundum?
Corundum, yeah.
Is
It's a little bit trickier.
is a little tricky to find to make steel, actually.
Yep.
Yeah,
And
because you need the ore for the steel.
yeah, and quicksilver you need for the elven, right?
The elven.
It's the Nordic carved.
And for the Nordic carved also, right?
Now, there's a Quicksilver mine in Dawnstar, so you can find some there, and then that's isn't that Quicksilver? Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, up there. Yeah.
I mean, the nice thing though is as soon as you get high enough level, you can actually purchase it from a lot of the blacksmiths.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, but they never have the one that you want when you get there.
Why would they have the one that you want? Come
They're
on.
psychic. How do they know?
Look, I'll go there. I'll get that the refined moonstone. I'll make some arrows, or I'll up my gear. And you get there, and they have everything else but refined moonstone.
Yeah.
Now at Skyforge, you can make special. That's where you can make special items, right?
Special arrows. Yep.
Yeah, there's only certain things you can make there. I forget what they are exactly.
I thought you could make everything
Yeah.
there. Or
Well, you can make anything there, but there's specific items, but I think you have to do the companion's quest first.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
And then you can make
the
better.
Skyforge.
You get the ancient Nordic weapons, and then you can
That's it.
improve them and make them better.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and that's only at Skyforge, right?
Yeah.
It'd be nice if you could craft the wolf armor as well, because you can only buy it off of him.
That's right. You can buy it off of them. Yeah, yeah. It would be nice if you could craft it because that's pretty cool looking armor.
Yeah. Well, I thought. There is no Skyforge armor. It's all weapons, right? So.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, well.
And that's the one thing with like Ordinator kind of does with alchemy and enchanting, where you can make the special tables that give you boosts, like 50% stronger potions or whatever it is specifically. But you can do, and then with Ordinator, you can do a one-time miracle where you can put 3 enchantments on an item.
Oh wow! I never saw that. But
That's the very top one in enchanting.
Okay. That's something that Perma does, the Percus Maximus, which is a far more sort of far-reaching perk and general overhaul than Ordinator is. Allows you to specialize in one thing per discipline, which is pretty cool. It's more involved than just picking a particular type of alchemy table that you want to make. It's pretty nifty, but. So you can specialize in, you can become a master alchemist. In Perma, yeah.
Well, that would be nice. Yeah, if you could specialize more, that would be nice. Because being a master alchemist now really means very little.
Yeah. Nope.
Unless you're just going to run around and poison everybody and be also a master poisoner.
Yeah.
At the same time. That's really the only way to do it. I'm trying to think. Is there anything else of those 3 disciplines are really...
Anybody got any favorite enchantments apart from Fiery Soul Trap?
Fiery Soul Trap.
What's the one on the Champion's Cudgel?
Yeah, the Chaos one?
Yeah, that's a great one.
Yes.
Chaos one's a great one.
Chaos
You
is
get,
nice.
it's up to 50 points of each type of damage. Is that what it is?
I think the damage changes to.
Well, it depends on
level.
what. Yeah,
Isn't there?
But there's a 50%
It's like
chance to cause all 3 damages at once.
yeah. Frostfire and Shock. Is that what it is?
Yeah.
I thought it was 50% chance to do each. To do either one, so there's a chance that you could get all 3 or 2 or just 1 at a time, right?
Yeah, I think you're correct. Yeah. It's a 50% chance of each one.
Okay.
So that yes, literally, you could do all 3
Right.
at once, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. Where's the cudgel at? I forget. Where is that?
That one is in Solstheim.
That's right. Yeah.
You get it from the Mad General.
Yes, that's it. He's a Notos Sand guys. Yeah, that's right.
And then once you get it from him, I have seen some people actually sell something with it. but you have to be a little bit higher level before you get that.
I like the paralyze.
Paralyze is great,
That was nice.
especially if you're two-handed.
Yeah, because I have it so it's got lots of charges on it, but it only knocks them to the ground for like paralyzes them for 1 or 2 seconds. So it'll have a lot of charges because then it's kind of like stunning them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
1 or 2 seconds is enough, especially if you got quite a few people attacking you at once.
Yeah, because it slows them down completely.
Right.
Yeah.
Because they fall down. They still got to get up.
They literally fall over. Yeah. They just fall over. That's true. It is funny. Paralyze is kind of funny too.
And if you do the mages, what is it? Is it illusion? There is one where it's basically will paralyze the entire room, or that's alteration, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And master level spell that paralyzes the entire room.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, there is that master level spell. That's right. It's a area paralyze.
Yep.
Yeah, but I do like that on the weapons. That is one of my favorites as well. Paralyze. Trying to think.
Imagine fiery soul trap and paralyze.
Yeah. Because I don't use paralyze as much, and because I'm generally sniping, but I loved it when I was like either doing sword and board or two-handed. It was great. The two-handed's especially great because you're just bashing them with like a hammer and they just fall over. You just keep bashing. But I like stealing health too. That's always a good one.
Yeah, that one's nice.
Yeah, taking health.
I like the one that's on. What's the one that you get from the Malak quest?
Oh, his mace.
Yeah, the Warhammer. I forgot what it's called.
Oh, okay. That's right, the Warhammer. Yeah, I'm thinking of. Yeah.
Sorry about that. I just flaked out there.
Oh no,
it's got absorb stamina, and I used to love that when I was killing dragons because you just keep on bashing it with this Warhammer, and it steals like 50 points of stamina on each hit. So you never run out of stamina, so you can just power hit it non-stop again and again and again.
Yeah, that would be nice. I might have to look into that for the character I want to make.
Yeah, that was a good one. Yeah, we were talking about our favorite enchantments, Victor.
Okay. Well, yeah, I flaked out with Chaos there. Things went kerflooey.
Yeah, I think we went Chaos, Fiery Soul, Paralyze. Can't think of any others off the top.
Absorb stamina and absorb health.
Yeah, absorb health.
I know for a mage, I did one where it was all basically all she wore was either like robes or clothing, and with the dual enchantment, I did what I did is I did the reduce magicka cost. So if I did it for all destruction, it would actually be 0 cost of magicka for all my destruction spells, which was really nice. So I could just sit there and just do a flame for days.
Nice.
So if you do the double, then you could do, like, let's say you use conjuration and destruction all the time. So then you do those two, mix and match them. So those are the 2 types of spells that you never use any magicka. So then you use your magicka for all the other spells, like illusion or whatever.
Yeah, so that way you don't have to waste it for,
Right. That one was pretty nice.
Oh, that is a good one.
Has anybody ever enchanted one of their weapons with the enchantment from the Lunar Forge?
Like, I tried it, a little bit. It's like, but I always forget to use them at the right time.
Yeah, you have to wait till the moons are out.
Yeah.
With the fear enchantment.
Oh, I like fear.
I've never used fear.
Yeah, I've never used the enchantment. I've used the spell, but I've never used
you know what?
enchantment.
Yeah, you're right. I only really use the spell. The fear and friend spells.
Don't they have a frenzy for enchanting also?
Yeah, I believe
that would be interesting with the bow, because you hit somebody from far away and just
poison, but not an enchantment.
Okay, so there's a frenzy poison. Okay.
I forgot one of my favorite ones, but it's not one that you can disenchant. It's the
Longhammer?
Dragon's Bane. Or Dragonbane that you get from what's it? I forgot the name of the place. You were just there with Esbern and
Oh,
the Delphi.
Ratways? Oh no, yeah, I know.
Skyhaven
Carspire.
Crossfire.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Skyhaven Temple in there. Yeah. You've got Dragonbane. It's a blade's longsword, and it does extra damage to dragons.
Okay, nice. Yeah, I like the long hammer as well.
Yeah,
that's one where it's you can enchant that as well, though, can't you?
No, that one you can't remove the enchantment off of it as well.
Yeah, but it's not an enchantment. It's like an effect. Because you can,
really?
I'm pretty sure you can. I enchanted it with fire, but then you can't actually see the enchantment.
Okay.
You're better off not enchanting it. You have it where it moves. I think it's 20% faster, or it moves as fast as it's a warhammer, but it moves at the speed of a great sword. But then if you get the shout, that increases the speed of your weapon as well. It moves, I think, at the speed of a sword, so you can just chop through enemies doing warhammer damage. It is orcish, so it's pretty low level. It's not like the damage of an ebony warhammer or a daedric warhammer, but
that's what would be nice if you could remove that enchantment and put it on something else.
Yeah, those are definitely all good ones. I'm trying to think. There's obviously the alchemy and smithing enchantments that you want to have for when you're doing that stuff.
Oh, there's also the one with that one we were talking about from Solstheim, where it increases the cold damage that you do. Because I remember there was somebody in the group that made a weapon, and it just did so much cold damage because of the boost, and his enchantment was up so high.
Ah.
Yeah, I think also if your weapons do, I think, more damage the higher your destruction is. So if you've got a fire,
yes, yeah,
like a sword of fire, whatever. If you've got high fire destruction, it does more damage. I think
it does.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah,
that's pretty cool.
Yeah, so if you go up that side of the destruction tree, it adds to your destruction as well.
Yeah, and I think he's talking about the masks that you get from the dragon priests that are on Solstheim, because they increase the damage you do with frost and reduce the damage you receive from frost. Or there's one for fire and there's one for shock as well.
I like the look of the shock mask.
Don't they all look the same?
I thought the shock one was a little bit thinner with like little pointy things on it, but they all do look like that. Because I thought each mask looked different.
I know the Dragon Priest ones on Skyrim do, but the ones on Solstheim I thought they all looked pretty much the same.
That you might be right.
I think.
You're probably right.
The only one that looked different was Mirak's one.
Oh yeah. Yeah, his definitely does look different.
I was going to say, I was thinking about something. When you were doing the Let's Play and you were up talking to the Greybeards.
Oh, yeah.
And I was there. Somebody said something, I think it was Arngir, and you were talking to him, and you said something. They said that Akatosh first bestowed the gift of the dragon blood. So if Mirak is the very first dragonborn, Akatosh gave that asshole the gift of being dragonborn. So Akatosh just totally fucked you over.
Pretty much, yeah. Yeah, he did. Yeah. That's a good point. Yeah, I didn't even put that together.
I don't think he was the first, though, was he?
Yeah, he is the first dragonborn, right?
Okay, because I thought he was just the one.
He claims to be anyway. Yeah.
Well, he claims
Yeah,
to
he claims to be, yeah.
Okay.
How correct that is a whole different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, because I thought, isn't there in the conversation with Parthenax, doesn't he allude to the 3 Nords as the first?
They're not Dragonborn.
Well, that's true. They're not, they gave him the gift of the voice. Yeah.
Yeah, he taught them how to speak.
Yeah.
Okay, so maybe he was the first Dragonborn then?
Yeah, because he was a fucking dragon priest as well. Why
Right,
did Agathos give a dragon priest to give dragon blood?
Oh man.
I'm not sure I'd want to challenge Akatosh by asking him though. Yeah. Yo, what'd you do that for?
What? Wow, yeah.
Give him the finger.
What in the world were you thinking?
Well, I mean, the Daedra and the Aedra are known for their sense of humor.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's true. Very true.
Especially Clavicus Vile.
Oh God.
Careful what you wish for.
Yeah. Oh man. Yeah.
Yeah, don't wish for a dog.
Yeah. Right.
Oh God. Oh man. Well, I guess after this I can play. We'll have Andrew's input, his 37-minute voicemail, and also I'll have some stuff from Dave and all. Oh, but I did want to mention Thomas emailed into the show earlier in the week. I don't have it handy, as a matter of fact, but I just said he started listening to the Fallout feed and Skyrim Addict and was enjoying him and joined a Facebook group and all, so it was awesome to hear from him. So thank him for emailing in.
Yes, thank you.
I do have one from Dave that I will be reading in a bit also, but I will save that for after because I have to do some editing and stuff. Anyway, and I also have to make a shirt for someone who ordered one. So,
Nice. I'm wearing mine.
Yes, and everybody else, obviously, who is on the shows is getting theirs eventually as I go through the list. In my factory in the basement. I need a sweatshop. I need to get some kids. And
Yeah, really.
Well, you could always become a foster parent and
just start using the kids to make shirts.
Yeah.
Get down here, you punks.
Yeah. But officer, it was for a game.
Yeah. No, really. No, look, no. They really wanted to do this. It was
What am I supposed to do? It's $20 for international shipping.
Oh my God, it was crazy when I saw that. I was like, holy crap, what? I was like, there's got to be a cheaper way to do this.
Yeah.
was that Ted?
Yeah, get on a plane and bring it to me.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, I'm just on vacation and take it to you. Oh, man. Yeah, so fair warning, international shipping is insane. Just heads up. Oh, man. But I think it's like $22 like anywhere I send it internationally.
Wow.
I don't know why, but it's crazy, obviously. But it was the way I had it set up at first. It was weird. It like double charged them for shipping, so it was like $45. I was like, no, that can't be right. I got
the second part was for when they send it back.
Yeah.
There you go. I got the wrong size. Can you send me another one?
Yeah.
Okay, so you have it set up if they're doing multiples, then it's just a single charge.
Yeah, I think it like adds like 50 cents or something, just in case it goes to the next level, which is a little more than that anyway. But it's I'm not really trying to make any money off it. It's just more just for the fun of doing it, actually.
Right.
And they kind of cover the ones people have bought have kind of covered the ones I've been doing for everybody else who does the shows and all. So it's not like some big money making venture over here. I'm not working that hard to make a few bucks. It's just would be way too much work to make a few dollars.
Yeah, well, I mean, like I always say, if I do something that I love to make money, then it becomes a job and it's no longer fun.
Exactly. That's it.
People always ask me, why don't you go open up a brewery? Well, then it becomes a job.
And then it's not fun anymore.
Yeah.
Then I'm in the brewery every day and have to make money. That's not fun.
Yeah, and that's the thing.
For that one, I feel so lucky that I hate my job.
Oh man, it makes it way easier to go home at night and not think about it.
Yeah.
Well, thank you guys for joining me.
Pleasure as always.
Yeah, it was a great
What do you
time.
say we do for the next one? We want to do the factions for the next one?
Sure.
All right. We'll figure out a date for that. So next time, well, not next time, but next one we do like this will be about the factions, how we kind of play them, what mods we use to fix them.
Makes it better.
Yeah. Yeah, like, the Thieves Guild, so you don't have to hop all over the goddamn country to bring it back to prominence. Then you can actually select the town you want to go to. That is helpful. I haven't done any of the, like, was it Dark Brotherhood Reborn or whatever it is, or...
I haven't done that either. Yeah.
I have the mod, I just haven't done it yet.
Yeah, I played a little bit of it with my last character, but I didn't get that far into it before I wiped everything out and started over.
Yeah.
I think that was when I switched from using Steam to using Mod Organizer. That's why.
Oh, okay.
And I just did a clean reload and just started over. I just find that easier. It's not that hard to do. So, but stay tuned. I'll have some feedback from Dave. I have obviously Andrew's feedback and things like that. So that'll be coming up on this mega long episode of Skyrim Addict podcast.
Yeah.
Which I've been podcasting since 1:00 this afternoon, by the way.
Oh my God.
I did an X-Files podcast right before this that wasn't even actually done when I hopped off.
Oh no.
We were talking about the finale of the original series.
Oh wow.
Wow.
Really, really bad, but we'll get into that. But of finales, it was like a clip show finale.
Oh,
Went over the whole series for 9 seasons. But anyway,
I watched it. Yeah.
yeah, I always loved X-Files, but man, when you go back and watch something you really loved a long time ago, it's not always a good idea.
Yeah. You're right.
Just keep the memories; they're better.
Yep.
Especially if you've seen David Duchovny in his new show.
Oh God!
Or his show on, what was it, Showtime? Or
Yeah.
It's actually a good show.
It's a great show, but
Yeah.
I can't imagine him being in X-Files after that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because you kind of imagine him and Scully not being so chummy.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's a good point. Oh God! All right, everybody, hang in there for the feedback section of the show. Take care.
Yeah.
Hello, everyone. Just quickly wanted to say I'm going to save the feedback for the next episode since this one's over 2 hours, and I'm not going to have time to put it all together right now. So Dave's feedback, Andrew's feedback, all that will be coming up this weekend. I'll be putting together another show, so it'll all be on there. And sorry about the funky audio on my end. That was my fault. I should have recorded directly instead of relying on YouTube. That was a mistake I will not make again. That was a little crackly. So thanks for listening. We have shirts over at etsy.com/shop/ASA podcasting. If you like a shirt, you can check those out. And otherwise, talk to you next time. Bye. Thanks for listening to this episode of Skyrim Addict. You can find all of our contact information, YouTube channel information, as well as other shows over at asapodcasting.com, including our newest show, The Fallout Feed. Special thanks to Claire LaFar for the show's artwork. You can find her stuff at etsy.com/MayaFirePrints, MayaFirePrints. And a thank you to Dan Bull for the use of his music in the roundtable open and close. You can find him on YouTube or iTunes. Just search Dan Bull. Once again, thanks for listening, and later, everyone.